And we are live.
Yeah.
Yeehaw!
That, you know that the last city to the last holdout from the Confederacy was in New York State,
Yeah.
and they only surrendered in the 20th century.
Wouldn't surprise me. We got plenty of good old boys and pickup trucks around here.
Yeah. Albany shall rise again.
The South shall come again.
You just would not expect it in Albany.
Yeah, Albany's central New York. You're not even to upstate New York yet when you're in Albany. Though, of course, everybody in New York City and Long Island calls everything upstate New York. So.
Exactly.
Everything.
Now, in the 80s, there was a secession movement for New York City to secede from the state of New York.
Oh, it's gone both ways. I've always heard it. They want to kick New York City out, though. New York State only ratified the Constitution because New York City threatened to pull out if they didn't. So that's real. Way back when all the states had a sign, and it took years to get everybody to sign. Years and years and years. It was a big week for me at the comic shop this week. 14 comics. I was like, holy 14. Cow.
They should have given you buy 12, get 2, buy 7.
Yeah.
Buy 6, get the 7th one free. So you could pay for 12 and take the 14 home.
Yeah. Well, I do get a 10% discount or something. So that's buy 10, get one free or something. Or buy 9, get one free. I don't know. I don't know what it works out to.
Yeah. Well, close enough.
Close enough. Close enough to overstuff. Bump, bump, bump.
No, I had when I was buying on a regular basis, I had a 5% discount.
Okay.
But if I bought over 50 euros in books, I would get the discount would be up to 10%.
I know there's some of these mail order places that give like 30 or 40% discounts. Sure, crazy like that.
Yeah, but they don't have the overheads because they're not open to the public.
Right. No overhead, and they have to make it up in volume because I think they get them at 60%, somewhere around there. So a 30% discount means they're only making 10%.
Sure, though those exclusive mail order businesses that advertised in Marvel in the late 90s, those were warehouses.
Oh yeah. Marvel in the late 90s. Of course, the big news this week is Marvel is moving to Los Angeles. Who didn't see that coming? Somebody in Los Angeles wanted more power and wants to remake Marvel in their image, so it's going to happen.
I mean, Marvel's already been... No, that's the problem with Hollywood. Every time they have a new executive, they remake everything in a new image.
Yeah.
Because in the publishing business, they used to pretend they were going to do everything different, but then they didn't because it's publishing.
And Stephen Wacker is Marvel's new editor-in-chief.
Well, I suppose he's as good as anyone right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know him. I don't know his work. I was a little iffy about his when they were bragging about his track record, and said things like the hit series Captain Marvel. I'm like, if it has to be rebooted half a dozen times, is it really a hit series?
No, but when he was Spider-Man editor, so he came up with a brand new day, but he didn't want to stand still. I suppose if he saw it needed a change, he did the change.
Yeah, I don't really know that much about his record here or there. I'm just, like, I don't think that was a hit when they're telling me that was a hit.
No, Marvel don't have hits since Captain America came back from the dead.
Absolute Batman doesn't need to be rebooted.
Right.
That's a hit.
Although I wonder how much longer they can keep the absolute momentum going.
Yeah,
Because I
that's
think they have,
it's still going. I mean, I'm amazed.
yeah, but they
Yeah,
have 6 books now. So
yeah,
the more books you have, the more overall quality diminishes. So they may have one good book, the one that everybody likes, which is Absolute Batman.
right.
But I think Absolute Martian Manhunter was out of the box enough that it became some sort of a cult hit.
Yeah, it was
But
too weird for most people.
mhm.
Hello there,
Hey
Comics
Donald,
Progressive. Hello there, Captain Finity.
Captain.
And here's a weird thing. I just learned this about Stephen Wacker, too. I picked up this week,
Mhm.
uh, which is Foundation. And you see, where is it? This up here, which I didn't know what it was. It's 3W3M. 3 worlds, 3 moons. And this is a line here. This is a line that Jonathan Hickman invented, and apparently he invented it in like 2020.
Oh, but for Dark Horse.
This is the first time it's been printed by Dark Horse.
Okay.
Apparently, I don't know where it's been appearing, but happy to have been here. Oh, right. But somewhere, happy to have been ready for you today. Have a good show. All right. This is I don't know where it's been appearing, like on Kickstarter or what's that one for writers? But apparently it's been going on for a while, and it's also like crowdsourced for that they've like got boards that you can go on and talk about the world building and maybe add something to the world building.
Mhm.
Um, and reading Stephen Wacker, the new editor in chief of Marvel's resume, he left Marvel in 2020 to edit this project for
Mhm.
Jonathan Hickman. So I was like, okay, I didn't even know this existed, let alone that, yeah, Stephen Wacker is the editor. So this is what he's been doing since 2020, along with Jonathan Hickman. I had zero idea. I don't know how much material they put out. Uh, Happy Friday 62,
Hot
Lefty
Friday.
Blues. Happy Hot Friday. Yeah, happy hot smoky Friday around here. And it's like I thought this was just okay. I mean, it was, I guess you'd call it an introduction, a preview. It was fine. There's artwork in the back,
Mhm.
but this
So
wouldn't make me buy more stuff.
is that what exactly?
I don't know.
Hmm. It's magazine size?
It's magazine size. It's like an introduction to all the world building they've been doing. There was a story in the beginning of a father and son, and the father's going off on some space travel, and they're like, and they never saw them again. Then we switch to what happened on their space journey, and the father disappeared or something. Then we go back to the kids. I guess that's the kid's big sister who's like, I'm going to go find dad. And then we get these sort of godlike creatures who take dad somewhere, on some planet.
Space fantasy.
Yeah, space fantasy, I guess you'd call it. Yeah, and then it of course comes with where is it? Some of this where Jonathan Hickman world building graphics, which I skipped right over. Maybe
Ah,
that's why I didn't understand what's good. There's more, there we go. There's some more world building graphics.
Yeah.
I find these
Well,
so dull and tedious.
right. I don't know. I, I think that Hickman knows what he's doing with those graphics, but every time somebody tries to do graphics like Hickman does, it's just a boring list.
I'd find them. I think he knows what he's doing. He's got what he wants down there. I just don't have any interest in reading it. There's nothing
Yeah, I get it.
about it that makes me want to read it.
Right. It's like the okay, so, the Watchmen text pieces. You need to read them. The Hickman graphics, you don't.
And like here's 2 pages about who the main character is. I had no interest in reading that.
That's too big.
You wanna
I mean, might as well do a 4-page preview of the actual story.
and also half of it is this alien language graphic.
Ah,
You can't even read that.
no. Well, every time he comes up with an alien language.
So it was just kind of okay. 60. I read Black Science earlier this year. There's a lot of timey-wimey family. Yes, I bought it's back there on this shelf, the big, huge version of Black Science, because I bought the first issue of Black. That's a Rick Remender one.
Yeah.
I forget who the artist is. All of a sudden, but a good artist too. But that's one of those. Rick Remender can really change directions on a series. I first noticed that with his Fear Agent. He changed entire directions with Fear Agent 3 times in the 25 issues or whatever it was. And Black Science would do that too. It would be about this thing for 12 issues, then turn around and be about this thing. And where it ended was so far away from where it began. And it's kind of fun. Like I said, I remember buying the first issue of Black Science and liking it, but then the second issue got shorted everywhere. So I just kind of went, I guess I'm not getting the second issue, and just didn't have an interest enough in it to track anything down. Timey-wimey, you say? Yup.
Have you ever felt that
Scalera was the artist? There we go. Yeah, he was good.
Have you ever felt that Rick Remender requires a period of acclimatization for every new story?
I would think so. The only thing I'm reading of his right now, I think, is the Paul Azaceta one, Seasons.
Because I've never read a Remender book where I pick up issue number 1. Right, but I've never read a Remender book that I picked up issue number 1 and thought, oh my God, this is amazing. I have to get the next one. What I think is this is out of the box enough that leaves me curious about the direction, but I can't say it's got me hooked.
Yeah, I read a first issue and say, oh, this is kind of interesting. Maybe I'll read some more.
And
it's Sacrificers. That's one I skipped. I waited for the whole run before I started reading it. Yeah, the Sacrificers. I think Rick Remender, I'm hit or miss. I'm I'll read this one. And I know I picked up the Seasons because of the Paul Azaceta artwork. He used to work with us in the bullpen, so I was like, all right, I want to buy Paul's work. But I don't think I see Rick Remender's name on a first issue, and I'm like, do I want to commit or not? Because I think it is something you have to commit to. At least 6 issues, something like that, to really. And
but you don't really understand what the story is about when it begins, so you have to keep on reading for it to make sense in your head.
You don't know what's going on at first,
right?
And he can change what's going on 8 issues later. Wise. Nobody wants to get George R.R. Martin.
Oh, you don't get George R.R. Martin. It's more like Twin Peaks. You don't know what it's about, but you stay around hoping for an explanation.
62 says the irregularity of shipping has driven me to TPBs and omnibus for See, I'm not. irregularity of shipping is okay with me just because I put something on my pull list and when it shows up, it shows up. So I'm actually, irregularity of shipping has never really bothered me because yeah, there's so many good. It's not like it's one comic I'm waiting. I got 14 freaking comics this week. That's insane. So if one misses shipping for a few months, hey, that's good. That's fine. I got other stuff to read, and I'm happy to see it. Like the ultimate irregularity of shipping or long time between shipping, something like Palookaville, where an issue came out every year or two. And now that they're the books that comes out definitely every year or two. So I was always just happy to see one. So I'm okay with irregularity of shipping. Captain Finity, I refused to watch Dune Part 1 until 3 hours before Dune Part 2 was in the cinema.
That makes sense.
I've been watching this guy on TikTok who explains Dune. His opening line is always, I read all 20 Dune books, so you don't have to.
Yeah.
And I've been watching his videos when they pop up in my feed. Otherwise, here is my experience with Dune, okay? I don't know how old I was, but probably at least in college. So I was probably early 20s when I first decided to finally read Dune because it was, pretty, and there was only 3 of them at this time. There are only 6 Dune books.
Exactly, and there are only 4 Star Trek series.
I have heard that. So there was only 3 Dune books when I first started reading them. And I got the first one, and it was a slog to get through. Hello there, Wilson.
Hello.
So I read the first Dune book, and it was a slog to get through. I was like, but of course, I was young enough in those days to be when I started reading a book, I was going to finish it. So I was like, and I had bought the trilogy. So I was like, I read the front. I'm like, I got the other 2. So I started reading the second one. I'm like, wow, they really skipped ahead in time with this. Not realizing I was reading the third one.
Oh, okay.
So I made it. Once again, it was a slog to get through. I made it through the third one. I was like, oh, all right, made it through the first one, made it through what I thought was the second one, and it was really the third one. Then I picked up the third one, which was really the second one, started reading it, realized it was the second one, and went, that's it, I'm done. I'm not,
I got to page 10 of the first book because a friend of mine had loaned it to me, but it was the Portuguese edition. And normie translators should not be allowed to even breathe on paper that contains science fiction.
I've never tried it.
Cash-ins by Offspring don't count.
Yeah.
I have heard that many a time about the Dune books, but I'm never going to read any of them. So, evening, Comic Crack.
Hello.
You already complained about Canada, so.
Oh, we did? Because I blame Canada for me not getting my books.
No, the Sun did not write a bunch of Dune books. Kevin J. Anderson wrote a bunch of Dune books, and the Sun signed his name.
Ah. And this all started, Wilson, because of the move of Marvel to LA. I just found this book I bought this week, which is Foundations, #1. Someone on my pull list was like, that's not actually new material. I was like, okay, it's new to me. And it's Jonathan Hickman, his world building company. And I guess it's been going on somewhat like on Kickstarter or something. They've been putting out books, and there's a forum where fans can go in and help with the world building, and it's this group effort thing and blah, 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 blah. But it turns out that the new editor of Marvel Comics, Stephen Wacker, who I know nothing about, he left Marvel in 2020 to be the editor of Jonathan Hickman's world building company, which is this weird word up here that looks a little like meme, but it's 3 worlds, 3 moons, 3W, 3M, which is the name of Jonathan Hickman's world building company. Not my favorite logo of all time.
Yeah, it seems to be a bit much as logos go.
But this is what Stephen Wacker has been doing, who I don't know at all. Have you ever met Stephen Wacker?
I don't recall.
I
recognize the name.
Yeah, he started, I think, in 2006, and I left in 2005. So there was
right. I was gone by 2004, so I never got to meet. As far as I'm aware of, I never got to meet Stephen Wacker, unless we were introduced at a convention, which could very well happen. Because there's plenty of times where we'll be at an event and paths will cross. Hey, nice to meet you. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Never speak to them again. So
Right.
I don't recall meeting him. I do know of his name. It's popped up enough to go, okay, that guy, in that sense that he's an editor, type of thing.
Well, he did do the JSA that I liked before he went to Marvel. He did the JSA that I liked.
Okay.
So that's good.
Yeah, everybody seems to have nice things to say about him. So hopefully he's a good choice for editor-in-chief. And I didn't realize, I also read that CB has been editor since 2017. It's like, has it been that long?
It's just been a quiet editor.
Yeah.
Doesn't seek the limelight. And, whenever I ever spoke to him, because I ran into him quite a few times.
Oh, yeah.
So
I haven't ran into him since I left Marvel, but.
And I ran into him at a few events where, like, we're all in the same bar. The uppity ups of Marvel is upstairs, where the free drinks are being poured, and then the downstairs is where the freelancers were allowed to hang out. Kind of a thing. It's like, and he once told me, "Oh yeah, once the big wigs go, you guys can come upstairs." And we never heard back. So it's like one of those things.
Yeah. CB was always a nice guy, but he never had much to say to me.
Right.
He was usually even when he was at Marvel, he was like a networking guy, which explains how he became editor-in-chief. He was one of Ike's guys, but he was. You ever run into someone who is nice enough? And this is weird for comics, because in comics, you always have comic books in comics. As you can see here, I can talk about comics for hours on end, week after week after week. So to have like nothing to say to another comic book guy, I always found a little strange.
I've never had problems talking to him. I think it's because we did have a few little things in comics, being manga.
Right.
I used to letter manga. Being, him an editor, I'm almost sure hired me once or twice.
I'm not saying I had problems talking to him. I'm saying he never had any much interest in talking to me.
Right. So yeah, it's like one of those things. Like I had a better, times to talk to him about stuff.
Yeah.
And you don't really drink, so you didn't go to the bars that after work and stuff like that. And I've spent time with him at bars, just talking about manga, occasional music, and him living in Japan for a while, and Transformers and stuff, Transformers and anime and stuff like that. So there was like
I gotta figure he's real happy to be going back to Japan too.
I would guess so.
I mean, because part of the Marvel reorganization is with Steve Wacker, the new editor-in-chief, CB Cebulski gets to move to Japan and do Japanese things for Marvel.
Right.
It's the return of Akira Yoshida.
Yeah. Good evening, Sketchbook. The lessons
if I were him,
gentlemen, pop quiz tonight.
I mean, if I were him, I'd bring back the name just because.
Just to piss more people off.
There you go. But of course, in the long run, it also proves that name just flew out of my head.
If you're one of Ike's guys, it doesn't matter.
No, wasn't I was not one of Ike's guys. That's for sure.
No, I mean Seavey was. That's why he
Right.
survived that that whatever they call it, pretending to be somebody Japanese so he could get work.
Mm-hmm. Greg Schiegel.
Oh yeah.
He spotted it first, and people called him crazy, and it was
Oh,
like,
for
no,
saying that was CB?
yeah, he was like, I have a feeling, and then he's done some podcast about it, and no one was willing to believe him. And he stated his case, and it's like, I was gone by then, but I had been told, hey, did you hear that Greg talked about this? And it was like, I didn't hear about it. Went back to one of the podcasts, and it's like, that all makes sense to me. Because he connected all the dots. And it's like, you know what? Yeah. He brought someone to the office, introduced them to a ton of people, but the guy only ever spoke Japanese. And so there was no one to confirm it, because I know one other person at Marvel who spoke Japanese, and he was no longer there. So, again, it's one of those things. It's like, that's wild.
And he's writing in English.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never even knew there were dots there to connect. So
I did not either. I didn't look in. It wasn't. Again, it was one of those things. Like, never thought of it.
Never knew there was a Japanese writer there.
It didn't cross my mind that would be going on.
Marvel will bring Marvel Mangaverse this autumn, I believe. Okay.
I could see that.
I know that's what CB's going to be looking at, some Japanese talent over there.
Going to go up to the studio assistants of all the famous artists. Do you want to make it as a solo artist? And die at age 52.
Did Peach Momoko do anything in Japan? Was she famous in Japan at all? Do you have any idea?
I have no idea.
I want to say yes, only because I heard something along the line that she was. But I couldn't tell you the titles. I couldn't tell you anything.
Yeah, I have no idea. I only heard of her once she started doing.
Right. It's the only thing that makes me think was that her naivete with certain things going on in the States that sound like they were a type of thing that would happen in Japanese comics. And I'm talking about, doing artwork, signing things, not charging for signature. So you had too many people showing up to get her signature and then just resell it all that same day, practically taking a photo of it and then trying to resell it on eBay, and her not being aware that was such a thing here.
Because I'm imagining what Paolo just said. She could have been an assistant over there. So you go over and tell the talented assistants that.
Yeah, I mean, she got famous in the U.S. scene at pretty young for a Japanese artist. So she may have been an assistant or a working editorial if she's used to doing cover art.
Very well possible. I do not know enough information about her.
Yeah, I've never looked into her at all. So.
Right, because I remember when she was interviewed by the dead guy, and yeah, she didn't speak. She understood English, but she didn't speak it, and her boyfriend had to translate.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure if she was specifically looking for jobs abroad. But since she's part of this generation that posts everything online, she caught somebody's attention, I guess.
Yeah, that's deviant art was a big thing for a long time for people to get discovered.
Yeah, that's where Art Germ came from too, right?
I think so. That there are a lot of people being discovered on Instagram and other places. And I think that's why eventually you get to see editors talking about, oh, we'll find you kind of a thing. Don't send anything in. Because again, it's just a new age, new technology. People are getting their stuff out there. Unfortunately, there's way too many scammers out there.
Oh yeah.
Because I can't tell you how for a long time I would get artists asking me, would you look at my portfolio? And it's like, sure, send me a link to your website. It's like, oh no, I only use Instagram.
Oh.
I can't tell you a thing on that because they're tiny. They're tiny images that looks too generic. And, for a while I kept getting practically the same portfolio. And it's like, guys, switch it up a bit, you know? And you're asking for crazy money that's like, no one's making that over here.
One of my students introduced me to Korean Illustrator Instagram because that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to move to Korea and be an illustrator. And they've got this crazy complex Korean comic style that all looks the same. It's sort of like, an anime style that highly polished. Everybody draws eyes the same. Everybody draws, but really highly polished and well done and colorful as hell. But like a whole world I knew nothing about, and I don't think anybody in the U.S. knows anything about.
No, not really. There's, a lot of things are not kept hidden, but we don't know how the
There's so
artwork
much
is
in the world.
made. There's so much, and we learned this from manga that a lot of those backgrounds is a type of pickup art that they make books of, and so you also you can have up to 5 artists on a page, and the main artist comes in and just draw the characters' faces. The more famous you become, the less you have to draw. So you're just coming in and just making sure the faces look correct. And the other 5 people who are living in the same studio, maybe working on other projects, and they're not allowed to even announce what their name is until they reach a certain level, and then they kind of can go ahead and create. And then each country has their own little secrets of comics, how they make them, and they're all a little different, and they're all, the Algiers is they're a combination of French and manga combined. And their art style is in the middle of a developing. I was watching it happen live in the sense of how they were creating it. Unfortunately, the pandemic, I lost touch with everybody, just because that whole system not broke down, but I just wasn't in the know anymore from there. But they were developing their own style that was, as I said, a combination of French comic books and anime, manga comics.
There's a lot of that going on in France, even among foreigners who want to work in the French market. But traditionally, French artists who made it big had an assistant who drew pretty much every background.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy who replaced Rosinski in Torgal, he started as Rosinski's assistant.
Yeah, the same thing. It's like some people get credited, other people just have background artists working for them. There's just so much going on, and you never know. Before it was frowned upon, now it's one of those things. Oh yeah, they have assistants doing it. So things change over the years.
Did you make it to the comic shop this week, Wilson?
I did not, because Canada was trying to hotbox us. Although I am upset how nice today was, that I could have made it out. Yesterday I went out for a little while. It was just too much.
Well, it got nicer throughout the day.
Yeah.
I actually stayed in from my bike ride this morning and rode the stationary bike because I was like, you know what? I'm not a young man anymore. I don't have to.
Exactly. And I've always had a problem with smoke in general. Like I couldn't be around people smoking.
Right.
And stuff like that I feel like it's like I'm breathing in smoke. I could feel it happening. I'm aware of it.
So, yeah, I never had much problem with that, but when they now have the air chart of the air quality chart, and it was up in the dangerous level. I'm like, you know what? I can stay in.
Exactly. And then, so I missed going on my walks for a few days.
Oh yeah.
Because of the fact that it's like, no, it's just too
It's
much.
been yellow out.
It's been yellow, and it wasn't as yellow as it was last time this happened in New York, where it was like way obviously
Right.
too yellow. So, you know, I listened to the governor, and she was like, "Yeah, don't go outside." I was like, "All right, I'll stay indoors." And again, it's like at some point it was like, "Let me go outside, see what it's like, go grab a cup of coffee." And it's like, "Oh, it's nice out." I could have gone to the comic shop. By that point, it was like, I won't be able to make it downtown, get the books, make it back, be on time for the show. So it's like, and even when I was on time, I had to restart everything. Just it wouldn't connect. But
Well, let me show you another one of the comics I got this week.
sure,
A good one, since the Foundations was just. I don't think I'd buy any more of this, but it was okay. This is a surprise Terry Moore book. Terry Moore, Fear of Death, a Rachel Rising story.
I am not
That's the
aware
little
of
girl from
Rachel.
Serial.
Okay.
Some nice artwork, of course. And I wasn't expecting this because he said he's going to straight to trade paperback now. He's not going to publish issues. But I guess he decided to publish an issue. And I think he's doing these on Kickstarter too, before they come to the comic shop.
Is that a prequel?
This is a prequel.
Which might explain why it was published in as a miniseries.
Yeah, I think that's right. And it's only one issue. It's a one-shot prequel.
Oh.
Is that
so I assume he just wanted to get one. And I think it's almost a spoiler for Rachel Rising, in that he explains things in here. That is a number 0 on the cover.
It is okay, so I could see that being the one shot type of thing. Yeah.
And I wonder if he's going to now put this in future Rachel Rising trade paperback collections, and if he's going to put it at the beginning or the end. Because Rachel Rising, the reason I say it's a spoiler for Rachel Rising is I haven't read Rachel Rising since it came out, which must be a decade ago now. But in the beginning of Rachel Rising, you see this young woman buried in a shallow grave. She reaches her hand up, digs herself out of the shallow grave, and the rest is a horror story, mystery about, why was she using that shallow grave? Who killed her? What happened? One of the characters eventually introduced into the book is Lilith, of Jewish lore. Lilith, the first woman, and this little girl, who's also the star of Serial, is literally the devil. She's literally the devil, Lucifer, who possesses a 10-year-old. That's how Lucifer's living his life right now. And in this, he even gives you Fear of Death sketchbook. Here, a little paragraph where he explains the background. Is Lilith fair? Very fair. She sings well, too. I was always interested in how much Terry Moore income is. It can't be high as a two-person business, which I think his business. I remember hearing, this was in the late 90s, when someone said, when comics were not doing well, and especially indie comics, and this person said that probably the person doing the most well in comics is the person like Terry Moore, who's got a guaranteed sale of 10,000 issues. No matter what he puts out, it'll sell 10,000 issues, and it's a one-man operation. He's gonna make $6,000-$7,000 off of 10,000 issues. Let's just say, and that's pretty good for me. $7,000 an issue plus other stuff too. So he's probably in pretty good. He's one of the people in pretty good shape because he's got a solid following of 10,000 people. And like I said, it's he and his wife. So there's not a lot of overhead. They have to pay someone to color the cover, otherwise it's all Terry Moore. But anyway, the story here that they say, which is kind of implicit in Rachel Rising, but he makes explicit here, is that he tells the story back in the Garden of Eden, there was Lilith, and Satan thought she was hot. And Satan came down and seduced Lilith. And Rachel was Lilith's sister. And God asked, while Lilith was banging Satan, or Lucifer, I should say, not Satan, while Lilith was banging Lucifer, God came and said, hey, where's Lilith? And Rachel lied to God about where Lilith was. God found out. He condemned Lilith to walk the earth. So Lilith has been walking the earth immortal since God cast her out of the Garden of Eden. Of course, Lucifer became Lucifer. He was cast out too. And Rachel, because her sin was more minor, was also cast out. But she was condemned to constantly die and then live again. So she lives a life and then dies and then is reborn, while Lilith just keeps living. And as Lilith says somewhere in Rachel, he mentioned the line here. He's like, I don't know where this line came from when I was writing, but it defined Lilith for me. He said that Lilith said, to me, the earth is a mass grave. Because she's been around forever and she came from the Garden of Eden. So she's just tired of life and angry and all this. So this took place. And I don't know if Rachel always knows who she is right when she gets reborn. She like learns who she is over time. So in this one, we get where is it? Rachel? Is this Rachel who's dying or someone else? I think we get Rachel in this story. We get Rachel who's dying, and Lilith shows up as she's dying, because the angel of death is coming to get Rachel. So Lilith is begging the angel of death to take her instead so she can die. So that's what this story is about. This and it takes place right before Rachel Rising, kind of. But it kind of explicitly explains who the characters are. So you don't have to read all those issues of Rachel Rising to know. But Rachel Rising is a good book, so it's worth a read. But I liked it a lot, of course, because I always like Terry Moore stuff. But like I said, I wonder. I assume he's going to put it into a future trade paperback, because otherwise, why would he do it? But I wonder if he'll put it as in prologue or an epilogue, because, like I said, it could be a spoiler, maybe. I don't know how. Being that I haven't read Rachel Rising in so long, I don't know the details of how quickly the plot was laid out. But it was good. It was a nice surprise to see this was coming. I still don't know what Terry Moore is doing next either.
Right. I like his artwork. I've only ever picked up Strangers in Paradise, and I didn't really follow him after that. With his other projects and stuff like that. I may have picked up at least the first couple of issues of the I forget the name. I think there's one with masks, or a character wears a mask or something like that. It was right after Strangers in Paradise.
What was the sci-fi one with the armor? Echo.
That might have been the one.
Yeah, she had a mask, sort of, I think.
Yeah, but I think I tried that.
I actually think Terry Moore's other stuff might be easier to get into for most people than Strangers in Paradise.
Right.
Because Strangers in Paradise was a relationship book. Echo was a sci-fi book. Rachel Rising was a horror book. 5 Years was an action book. Serial was a horror book. That little girl Lucifer against a serial killer You don't want to be the serial killer in that case.
Right. Yeah, for me, I think Strangers in Paradise was fun because it was just a story. No superheroes. No, it was just like really pretty art to read, enjoy. No big anxiety or stuff like that. So it was like something fun. And I think because I was getting that as they were coming out, when I grabbed all the big books, it was always kind of like a nice cleanser after doing all the superhero stuff. And I think that's why I enjoyed it a lot.
Nice change of pace, but it took me a while to get into Strangers in Paradise. I bought like a third printing or something of the very first issue and liked it, but then I just never saw another issue and I forgot about it. Then I tried an issue around like issue 11 or 12 and it was okay. Then I tried another one around 15 and it was okay. And I went, you know what? I'm just putting this book on my pull list because this is a book that should be up my alley. Let me just read it for a while. And so I put it with like issue 16, 17, 18. I put it on my pull list and I've been reading this stuff ever since.
Right.
But it was one of those like, I should like this book. There are some books that it takes me a while to like, even though I'm like, I should like this book. This book checks all the boxes that I like. But sometimes I have to live with them a little while first.
Right. I can see that. Yeah, for me, it was the art. It was the cartooniness of it.
He's good.
Enjoyable covers, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that was the most attractive. That he had covers that was like, I want to read this. Yeah. I wonder what's going on in this story.
Pretty women, nice technique.
Yeah.
You ever read Strangers in Paradise?
No.
No.
No, I wasn't interested when it was out, and then you try to go after something that should be available in trade, but it kind of is. But I wasn't scouring the previous catalog to hey, can you start ordering Strangers in Paradise trades for me?
It's easy to forget about because it's doesn't have high octanes. You ever read any of his others, Rachel Rising or Eka?
No, Rachel Rising, I wouldn't be interested. But there are a couple of series from back then that I still wish I'd gotten into, like Age of Bronze.
Oh, that one's real good.
Yeah,
Age of Bronze is terrific. If you like history and good comics, Age of Bronze is terrific. I wish it would finished up, but it never did. Age of Bronze, for those who don't know, is Eric Shanower comic. Came out from Image. I don't even know when it started, when it fell off. Maybe around 2010 it fell off, and it started in the late 90s. Maybe 25 to 30 issues of it. But it was a telling of the story of the Trojan War. Except it started with the Trojan War took a long time in terms of getting the people there. So it started with like I forget which king it was, getting Helen stolen from him, the insult, whatever, and getting mad enough that he wants to go to war with Troy. But now he's got to go and gather up his forces, and he has all these alliances with other city-states, and every city-state he has to travel to and convince them that, hey, you have to go to war with Troy too. So all this from him getting mad. I can't remember if at the end they finally got to Troy. I'm not sure if it ended there or a little before then, but it took them, because these city states were all over the Mediterranean, so it took them time.
They were not all over the Mediterranean. They were actually pretty close around the Aegean Sea. The thing is, even if you want to go from Athens to Smyrna, It takes a couple of years of preparation to
and to bring an army with you.
Yeah.
So it took them so long to convince everyone, and it was all about the convincing, and it was all about it was really well done. I read a review of it once in Archaeology magazine, which I cut out and still have here because I'm a subscriber to Archaeology magazine, and Archaeology magazine liked it a lot. There we go. That's the one I couldn't remember the name of. Paolo May Like Motor Girl by Terry Moore. She's a mechanic with a gorilla, and she's ex-military with PTSD, and she's a mechanic in the desert, and it's a little Calvin and Hobbes. You don't quite know if the gorilla is real or not. That's because it's a talking gorilla. But yeah, I was gonna. For some reason, Garage Girl was the only thing that was in my head as I was just trying to think of that one a few minutes ago. It's Motor Girl. Yeah, that one only ran about a dozen issues, but it was good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, Age of Bronze is terrific. There's a couple of trade paperbacks of it, but I don't think the whole thing was ever collected. And I am sure he stopped doing it because he's stopped making money at it. Because who besides me is buying a comic about the Trojan War?
Maybe you should repackage it now with the Odyssey being released.
Garage Girl, is that your next dream? I'll make it its own series.
There you go. And that is how comic books are made.
Captain Finity says, imagine a team up with Maggie the Mechanic and the Weeping Gorilla. Good old Maggie
and Ape from George of the Jungle.
Grape Ape. Where's Grape Ape from? Was that a cartoon?
Grape Ape was a cartoon, Hanna-Barbera cartoon. And
Magilla Gorilla.
Magilla Gorilla, also Hanna-Barbera. Mr. Feeble's
Pet Shop. Right?
Pet Shop. Yep. In the same town that Scooby-Doo is in. Later on, in later, and I think it's the What's New Scooby-Doo. You would see the outside of the pet shop, but no one ever went inside.
7 issues of a girl with a wrench. 1 issue with her fronting garage rock band. Rock band. This just happened to pop up in my feed the other day. Because I've looked at the covers a million times on eBay or wherever. The Josie and the Pussycats series from, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. Great rock band covers. I just have, I've wanted to get them. I discovered them at the same time I discovered the Firefly covers. But of course, Firefly was a little more of a draw than Josie and the Pussycats. But maybe some, but I can get them for $2-3 a piece, and there's only 9 of them. So it's not like it's that much of a commitment, but maybe one day.
That's a good hunt. I was thinking, I've been noticing lately, mainly because one of the comic book company, a lot of their books are hitting issue 25, and they've been redoing the Marvel 25th anniversary frame covers. And I was realizing that, that's a nice collection. The frame covers alone are a nice collection because it's 25th anniversary, kind of like your 10th anniversary collection.
That nobody knows about.
That no one knows about. And the 25th anniversary comic, I have almost all of them already. Okay. And so there's not many to get for that. But once I started realizing, there are other companies that does their own take on it, that might be interesting to get as well, especially if they do the full face. Because sometimes they'll just do the border and they'll do other stuff inside. And it's like, so it's not true to the Marvel one. So
the 25th anniversary ones were a face, big face in the middle.
Yes.
And then what was in the border? More drawings?
The borders were all the Marvel superheroes.
Okay.
And drawn by John Romita Sr.
But were they body shots or head shots?
They were body shots. Mostly were like the waist up.
Okay.
Really depend. On the bottom, they were like cut off at the waist. But as they went up the side, you got more full bodies of the characters. And so people have done it where they just added all the characters of their company, kind of a thing. I've done a layout with all my characters to eventually be done as well, because it's one of those things like, oh, that would be fun to do, kind of a thing. But I saw some at the comic book shop last week, and it's like, ooh, it piqued my interest. I didn't pick up any of those books, but it was like, interesting.
Were they new Marvel ones, or?
No, these were being done by I think Boom Studio.
Okay.
Did it, and they were for issues 25, not the 25th years.
Let's see. I have Age of Bronze TPs. There are 4: 1, 2, 3A, and 3B. Okay. Like I said, I don't know if that's all the stuff or not. Because if there's 6 issues in there, that'd be 24. It'd be close to all of them. Let me see how many. Let me check my database to see how many issues of Age of Bronze I have. I have a hardcover of Age of Bronze 1, and I like it. I have some. I have maybe 3 of the collected editions, just because I got them just for the heck of it. Where are mine? AG, come on. Age of Bronze special behind. Oh, there's 33 issues. There's special number 1, behind the scenes number 1, and 1 through 33. So I'm guessing they didn't collect everything. And at the end, there was like 1 issue coming out every so often. Who even knows how long it was? Like I said, I assume 33 issues is a lot for a Age of Bronze series. I'm happy he was able to get that many done. Because they're also, I don't know if anyone out there, if you know Eric Shanower's work, but he's good.
Name is not familiar to me.
I think he did some Oz stuff.
At Marvel, yeah.
I did Bicentennial Salute. DC did Bicentennial Salute covers in '76. Just headers on the covers, really. Yeah. Tit Goblin's been downsizing lately, and it got me thinking about North American collecting. I think the norm is to collect and fill whatever space you have. Yeah. Tyler, do you think it's any different in your region?
Oh, it's even worse.
They got buildings going back 1,000 years that are filled with stuff.
Yeah, we live in apartments in cities. We don't have that much room. So if you all of a sudden you have 500 books, so man, I have a lot of paper here.
I forget the number, but there's a certain number where if you have this number of books, you're technically a library. I forget what it is, and it's not that many in the scheme of things. I don't know if it counts comics.
Technically, I can open a library with this. Yes.
Here you go. Oh, and buying stuff. So who here dropped the $4 million to buy that Iron Man artwork? I want to say
that was me.
Was it you?
Guilty. You caught me.
I was bidding on it as well, so I was only willing to go as high as $3 million. But you're the one that outbid me. But that was.
I was gonna go to 5, so I got it cheap.
You got it at a song. You definitely got it at a song. So.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Amazing to see. I saw some people like, why would it go for that much? And it's like first Iron Man image of the comic book, and or it's still millionaires being millionaires deciding I would like to own this.
Rich people doing rich people things.
Right. Exactly. And as someone who's actually held Silver Age art in their hands, it's wild to see stuff like that go for that price.
Oh yeah, I got
You know.
a couple Golden Age pages down there. Cost me $50. Not pages that anyone's going to pay $4 million for.
Yeah, I have pages that I. It is funny on the prices of pages. At one point, I decided, oh, I would like to sell this. I'll probably get $5,000 for that, and I would be happy. Not a single bite.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, maybe this isn't as worth as much as
I've
I
got
thought it would be. You
I've
know?
got the original art of the first appearance of Bad Mary, Space Lady. I think that was her name.
Is it?
I was I just reread Blades of Glory, and I was looking at some of the pages. I would love to have some of those Leonardo Mancos pages in the original, even with color as posters.
Huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of good artwork in comics. Just ask Roy Lichtenstein. See, Tit Goblin says, at my local shop this week, a tourist that owns a collectible store showed us all his Marvel Kung Fu pages that he has. A lot of pages. The old Kung Fu stuff was beautiful. Wow. Is that the magazines and the comic? What's Paolo pulling out for us?
Yeah. It's the Leonardo Manco pages from the story. So
what's this from again?
Blaze of Glory.
Blaze of Glory.
Because these pages here are kind of a little bit posterish. That's why they have a lot of text boxes. But it's the redesigned Two Gun Kid, redesigned Kid Colt Outlaw, redesigned Rawhide Kid.
Okay, now I can place it. I'm like, I know that, but is it Marvel? No, yeah, it's the Marvel one. Okay.
Oh yeah, it was Marvel. I
couldn't place it in my mind at first.
I actually held all that artwork. And I had connected Leonardo with an art rep, and they unfortunately had a falling out at some point. So I don't know who's representing him now for selling artwork. It's been a long time, but they and that artwork stood at Marvel's office for a very long time, just sitting there. So I got to really look at it, and it's neat. And he did so many techniques, down to the fact that he used his own fingerprints to make texture on the coats.
Fingerprint smoke and grime.
Yeah, smoke, grime,
yeah, it's here. I saw it.
And on the and I think on anything leather, he really went into it with all types of everything he had and more.
Sorry about the resolution, but see if you there it is. The smoke.
Yeah, that smoke is
fingerprint smoke.
Yeah.
Some nice. I got some nice Jay Lee art this week. In one this is the one I picked up off the shelf. I guess I never pre-ordered it. Monster Racing League 2. Finally, it lives up to its name, and someone turns into a monster. This one about like a teenage girl whose father moves to Japan, and she's all upset about it. She didn't want to move to Japan, but she finds this she's real. You can race virtually in this world, but she can also race regularly in real cars. So she ends up finding this underground place where she can race. But the Jay Lee layouts are nuts. There's not a box to be found on all this, but he does a really nice job with it. His layouts are so different, but not hard to follow at all. The story moves along nicely. I gotta say, I'm going to put this one on my pull list now, because I very much enjoyed this second issue. Like I said, it's the art that really makes it for me. The writing is very, I don't know how to describe the writing, because it's very sort of, I don't know what I'd call it. Speed racer, cartoon writing. There's the American girl, her Japanese friend who really wants to make friends with her, her Japanese friend's brother who's a racer and who has this rivalry but attraction with the sister's friend. It's like there's nothing special about the writing is all sort of just animated cartoon level writing, in that everybody's sort of everybody's sort of a cliche, not a cliche. Everybody's sort of just like a cipher for something. There's not. It's a different sort of writing than I'm used to in comics, but it's the artwork that really makes it come alive for me. It's I don't want to say everybody's a stereotype. Everybody's a type. Like you'd recognize the rebellious teenage girl. You'd recognize her friend who, her Japanese friend who just wants to be friends with her so bad. You'd recognize the older brother of the Japanese girl. You'd recognize the evil wizard. So all the characters are sort of shorthand so far.
Yeah.
And they're not trying to be anything but shorthand for setting up whatever story they're telling. But like I said, the Jay Lee art is I've really enjoyed it. So I'm going to continue buying that one.
Archetype?
Paolo, do you have the Hellblazer graphic novel Leonardo Manco did?
No, there you go. And he also did Werewolf by Night. Werewolf by Night, was it? I know he did werewolf stuff.
Signed by Mike Carey.
Oh, look at that.
Nice.
Fancy. And Comics Progressive says, in the 70s, I bought a lot of Galassi Master of Kung Fu pages for $30 each, which I wish I still had them. LOL. Yeah. Those are certainly nice.
This is cleaner than Blaze of Glory.
Let's see.
It's still Manco, but you can see that it's cleaner.
Yeah, he's one of those guys, I know his name, but I don't think I've paid that much attention to him.
For Marvel, I think he did a lot of the horror books.
Yeah, he had a big run on Elfstorm with Warren Ellis.
Ah, okay. I must know him. That's where I first noticed Warren Ellis. I think Marie edited that. Where did you, Comics Progressive, where did you buy Galassi Master of Kung Fu pages in the 70s? At Comic Cons? Curious about that. Well, I don't even think I ever saw any comic book original art till, I don't know. I mean, I was a kid in the 70s, so where would I see it? But probably till the 90s when I was at, I didn't go to many conventions. I was at a couple of conventions. I saw them in museums because the Cartoon Museum used to be in Westchester, where I went to college. So I know I saw original college art there, but comic art for sale? I don't think I saw much of that till I was an adult.
How would Galassi still already have his pages when Marvel didn't give back the pages then?
No, they gave them back, and they started giving them back in the mid 70s, I think. So I can see how that happened.
The first piece of artwork I ever saw was a cover, I think by Ron Lim, for I think a Green Lantern book in the 90s, because a guy that I knew who was one of the customers at the comic book shop was buying original artwork, and he had brought a cover in that he bought. And in high school, I saw like original artwork posters. Joe Jusko had shown an original painting, so that was the
Okay.
closest to comic book art that I
Yeah.
saw in real life. You know, I saw
Right.
copies of stuff, photocopies of stuff all over the place, but original physical art was at the comic book shop in the 90s.
Yeah, I don't think it was probably till the 90s. I was at Marvel already by the 1990
Yeah,
that I saw.
and
Like I
my
said, I saw it in the museum, but that's not quite the same as
yeah,
seeing it for sale. Let's see. Is M1 the same universe as of This Ends Tonight? The one Jay Lee did? I have no idea. It could be. That one didn't make a whole lot of sense. I can't remember who wrote that one, but this one's written by Lily and Robert Wyndham. Though this one has got some supernatural elements to it. That one didn't. But just the fact that it's drawn by Jay Lee, it could take place in the same universe. Because his stuff is very distinct these days, especially. What was Jay Lee's first book at Marvel? I'm trying to remember. Before Namor.
Before Namor?
Yeah, because I think he did stuff before Namor.
Didn't he come in with the Marvel Knights?
No, it was before then. Namor was before then.
Yeah, he did X Factor after Namor.
X Factor, was it? But before Namor?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think because I remember when he first came in, I wasn't that fond of his artwork, but I started to like it more when he was doing Namor.
No, and he did Namor first.
He did
Namor first.
A Beast story in Marvel Comics Presents.
That makes sense.
I just remember him being around before Namor, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I didn't like his Namor work at first, and then it grew on me. Then when I got to meet him and he hung out for a week in the bullpen, I liked his work better because he was a nice guy.
He did X Factor around the Executioner's Song storyline.
Okay. I thought he was the X guy, but
yeah, he
was a long ago.
No, he didn't replace. He was replaced by Joe Quesada in X Factor.
Early professional work Marvel Comics presents. It's absolute first public backup story. That's the John Byrne Namor.
Yeah.
So that's a different one. Taking over art duties from John Byrne. Oh, this is first regular one. X Factor, 92 early mainstream interior penciling. Yeah. Submariner Annual 2 contributed early prominent artwork alongside other Marvel titles of the era. He did an annual. I think I knew him as an X guy before Namor.
No. He was after. It was the Executioner's Song.
He was an X guy after Namor.
Yeah. So Larry Stroman was doing X Factor with Peter David. Larry Stroman, I don't think, could handle a monthly schedule. So Jay Lee took over, and then Joe Quesada took over from Jay Lee.
Okay.
And even he didn't stay for long.
X Factor 85, 92. So Wilson, you've been liking the X-Men 97?
I've been enjoying it, and I could agree with Tick Goblin. It is rad. It is just, it's a lot of fun. It's touching on those 90s X-Men comics really well. I have a pretty good idea, because of reading the comics, where they're going with that storyline. So for me, it's been a lot of fun. It's giving you...
Have you read any of the comic tie-in?
I have not. Okay. In fact, I wasn't aware that there were comic tie-ins. So it's like it didn't pop up on my radar. I think it was mentioned last week's show that there was comic tie-ins, and it's like, oh, I completely missed out on those.
Of course. Larry Stroman, my favorite when I began reading comics when I was 13. Sketchbook. Another straight up comic cover cell shot this week in the show.
Yeah, they've been giving they do some still shots. Not really still, but they lay on it for a few seconds longer than normal, and you realize, oh, that was a cover. that they're now animated. And so recently was the Frank Miller's Wolverine with him with the finger, like the come and get us type of image. So they've done that. So they've done some pretty cool stuff on the show, even when they were focusing on members of X Factor or X Force. They redid their opening theme song with all the X Force and X Factor members because it was Cable leading the X Force. So they kind of like redid the cartoon opening. And so instead of the X-Men logo, it was the X Force logo. And again, it was something that was just fun for the sake of having fun.
I never liked that Wolverine cover very much. It's a favorite of a lot of people, maybe because it's Wolverine #1. But it never did anything for me. I found it a little awkward.
It was, he's the most popular X-Men at the time.
Yeah.
Frank Miller doing the artwork. And again, he's unmasked too on that cover, I believe.
Yeah.
Is he? I think he's unmasked on that cover.
I think so. Because you can see his eyes.
Right. So it becomes like an iconic cover of the time period. And I think that's what it is with that one, is because so many people were excited to have a #1 issue. That's another thing too.
A lot of people like it. I just never did for some reason. I remember being disappointed by that cover.
Oh, okay. Disappointed in Frank Miller? Disappointed in storytelling of a cover?
Disappointed in the storytelling of a cover. I just thought it was a little cheesy and not very interesting.
Okay.
And I also don't think that's his strongest drawing ever either.
No, not at all.
Not his strongest drawing, not his strongest composition, not his strongest storytelling. So, never liked it a whole lot. It's not terrible.
Right.
But I just remember being all excited for Wolverine #1. And then I saw the cover and was like, I'm less excited now. Oh. Of course, liked it once I opened it up and read it.
Right.
I enjoyed the series. There weren't any feet in that X Factor intro. Another comic I got this week, since I got so many, was Dork this is up to #6. Hope the sales are still good on this.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything, so I don't know.
Because the comic is good. The comic continues to be good. In this issue, we learn who Dork's father is and how he was born.
Ooh.
Where are they? Where are they telling the story? Oh, that's only a little picture of him there. It was this big war between the orcs and the dwarves, and they had this huge battle where everybody died except for these two. And they were locked in combat with each other so long, a male and a female, that they decided to have sex. So they did, a dwarf and an orc, and that's where Dork comes from. And his father was trying to kill him this whole issue. Hammer of Gloin-Spear. Let's see if we can show you him. And I think the Bone Witch was his mother, if I remember my story correctly. But it was another fun issue. This has been a fun series. Like I said, I hope it's still selling well. As we remember, the first issue was very hot for a while. I don't know if it's still hot or not, but I'm really enjoying it. A fun fantasy story. I wonder what becomes of these hot series. How long do they remain hot? That's always the question.
Yeah, we don't know if it's a flash in the pan, or is it strong enough to keep going? Will it get an animated series or something? I think Absolute Batman is getting something animated, so
Oh yeah.
those prices have been popping up again.
Oh yeah. Absolute Batman's definitely the hottest of the hot.
Right. And then it's like that whole imprint has been
Yeah.
giving a bit of a life to DC anyway. And,
DC, that
and
probably, had something to do with someone wanting to more power at Marvel because DC's doing so well that
yeah,
some VP somewhere said, I have vision. I can take over here. And he doesn't know I have no idea who it is. No idea if it exists in one person or a few, but I know they don't know what they're doing. DC was lucky to get Marie Javins at the helm.
right.
I don't know Steve Wacker from anyone. Hopefully, Marvel will be lucky to get him at the helm. But I think Marie probably knows how to run things better than most.
Probably, and I would guess Warner Brothers isn't hands-on as
Oh,
I
they
would
are.
suspect Disney is.
Oh no, they are.
Are they?
Remember, they were almost sold.
That's true.
There's and speaking of, I don't I had just heard the person whose idea it was to move DC to LA was gone within 2 years.
Hmm.
So we know from those bankruptcy years at Marvel, these VPs come up with big ideas, and then they're gone before they're even implemented,
Yeah,
and everybody else has to clean up their mess.
exactly. Yeah, so it's wild,
Mm-hmm.
because you see everybody in California welcoming Marvel. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And all the New York-based guys are sharing photos of their times at Marvel, which I've been enjoying.
like
I've
I
been
said,
enjoying seeing some great pictures.
like I said, I just feel sorry for everybody who's just gonna lose their job
Yes.
because I wouldn't be invited to go to LA. That's for sure.
Right.
Not that I
And
would anyway, but and there are plenty of people who can. As I said in my comment online, this isn't the 1950s where the husband's job pays for everything. So if the job moves, you pack up the family and go somewhere else.
right.
Spouses all have jobs and careers,
Yep. Yep.
and if
And
if
we're
you're one of the Marvel doesn't pay great. So if you're making, I don't know, X amount of dollars a year at Marvel, and your spouse is making the same somewhere else, if not more, you're not moving. You're gonna
right.
have to find another job.
Yeah, and we're long away from the days where the company would pay for the moves.
Yeah.
That's not happening anymore. Uh, and again, to me, it's the wording that 100 people were invited.
I
That
didn't even
doesn't
see
mean
that actual number.
that doesn't mean that 100 people are going.
Right.
And again, I haven't been there in so long. I have nothing but watching from the outside, going, okay, if you go by the reported number of people that should
Mhm.
be working at the company, it's more than 100 people.
Yeah.
So
I don't know how many employees. They just had a mass layoff, so.
right, they took out 8%, and that could have been anywhere up to 50 people, maybe. And and the few people that I know over there, I kind of don't want to call and go, "Hey, are you going?"
It was
You know,
more than 8%. I think it was 8% over. I think it was more than 8% at Marvel.
okay. I think it's supposed to be again reporting 8% across
Right.
Disney.
I think
You
Marvel
know.
got hit worse than a lot of places in the
hmm
I was under the impression that who else are we going to fire at Marvel? Was
Well,
the situation?
Last time I said that, or the last time someone said that, our whole department was let go the next day. So, because
who's gonna be left? Not you.
Uh-huh. Exactly. We were having a dinner and it was like, wow, that was rough. Everyone got laid off, and we're like, who's left to lay off? It was a quiet in the room and realized, yeah, and not too long later, our department was let go.
Yeah,
The
I can see
conventions
it.
department.
And keep in
So
I
mind,
can see.
DC had layoffs not soon after they all moved to LA. So if you could imagine uprooting out your family, moving to LA, and then they lay off a year later, ooh,
yeah, and then
brutal.
when it happened to DC, there was enough friends that I had at DC where I was like, "Are you going?" And it's like, "No, they didn't invite me." And there
Yeah,
was a lot of production and bullpenners for
yeah,
DC. So I was like, "Nope, I was not
yeah.
invited." The only good thing about it, though, that they were paid off to the end of the year, kind of a thing. So
Hmm.
someone they may have had contracts, or it was like, "Yeah, we're moving. We're not taking you with us, but we're going to pay you off till this time period." So it
I
gave
mean,
them enough time to at least look for
that's
something.
better than nothing, but it's not the same as having a job.
Exactly. So
Definitely not the same. Yeah, like I said, I just feel we know what it's like. We know how it's gonna. There a lot of people who we worked at Marvel with in the '90s. Their comic careers were over.
yeah,
Just a lot of editors. You know, I've seen some of them pop up in recent years doing freelance stuff, but
hmm
they all had to find other, not only other jobs, other careers.
yeah, complete other careers
Right.
and just doing something else. And so the main takeaway had always been, and I've told this to other people, is that there is life after Marvel, and some people really do get to thrive, and then some other people we
Oh
just
yeah.
never hear from them.
That's why I always felt sorry for Paul Beckton
Right.
because that was his dream job. Who we mentioned a few weeks ago died, a fellow bullpenner. Um, Marvel was his dream job, and he didn't fit in anywhere else. He fit in with his radio friends, but that was a hobby and not a job. And he never quite was employed again,
Right.
and fell into bad health. And but that happened to lots of, like I said, once you get fired from Marvel and DC editorially or whatever, sometimes your career is just over in comics. It's like, oh,
Yeah. No, this
it's
just seems to
crazy.
be. It seems to be a little better now because the remote work
Yeah.
and stuff like that has made it where we can work for other companies. Because I do know like who that there are editors who didn't have to travel to where the company is located.
And there were some people who moved between Marvel and DC, maybe IDW, whatever that place is, Axel's working for now, AWA.
Yes, something like
So there
that.
are some people who continue to work in comics, but there's not that many jobs.
Unfortunately, so.
Let's see here. I Rensier, with Marvel moving, what are they going to give away, toss from the offices that might be of interest? I don't know if they have anything interesting anymore.
Yeah, they streamlined just about everything.
They're all just regular
So
offices. Maybe
yeah,
some graphics monitors, that sort of thing. I don't know. Also, what we found in the process, stuff that got put in a room, but I don't know how much original art is there anymore.
yeah, I have no idea what they've done with that at all.
You'd find
There,
stuff like that on a
there,
server nowadays.
yeah, there has to be artwork sitting there that hasn't been touched because I left a lot of work that was never processed because they weren't sure what to do with it. I just don't know what they did with that artwork. Did they eventually ship it out
And
house?
did Ike sell it on eBay?
Yeah. There is
There's a
there
chance of that.
there was a chance of that because there was a lot of art being sold. So I don't know who sold it, but for a while Marvel did have an eBay page where they were selling cabinets of comic books and stuff like that. So artwork, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Are there any comic companies left in NYC? The book companies.
So you have
That's
Scholastic, you have any of the large places, Random House.
HarperCollins.
Yeah,
I mean, they're not comic companies,
right.
but they publish
comics,
graphic novels.
Yeah, comics are part of their stuff.
Right.
And so that's New York City. In New York State, Archie is still in New York State.
Yeah, that's in Westchester, right?
That's in Westchester, last I recall.
Yeah.
I never got to visit their offices, even though there was
Oni
a few times
Press will now be publishing a bunch of Archie stuff.
Are they? Huh.
Yeah. That was announced a couple months ago. They're going to be licensing. I think they're doing, I don't know if they're, I think Archie's will still be publishing Archie comics, as far as I can tell. But Oni Press will also be updating Archie comics for the current day and also doing side projects of Archie comics.
Right. And there's a bunch of independent artists and independent companies that are still in New York, maybe not New York City itself, but Dreamweaver Press, I think it's in Brooklyn or Queens. They're friends of mine. So there's a bunch of independents. Section 8 Comics is technically still in New York. So, we're now the biggest comic book company in the city. Not really. But again, and then I also, there's no longer, as I'm aware of, a comic community in New York.
No.
The way it's been growing in other places.
Well, that's because Marvel wouldn't even let you in the building anymore if you were a freelancer.
Not anymore. Those days are so long gone of something like that. Where you could just, you were invited, drop by or something to even just get work. Was how people got work back in the day. So times are changing.
Mm-hmm. Let me show you another comic. I wonder where Ignition Press is. But probably so many of these are just spread out now too, and you don't really need, when you're a small comic book company, you don't really need. By the way, I don't believe any of this BS about Marvel moving to LA because the rents are cheaper. No. I don't think a big corporation like Disney gives one rat's ass about rents.
Yeah, not at all. That I agree is total bull.
It is a drop in the bucket.
It's just somebody wants everything in the same place.
Yeah. Somebody wants control of it.
Although with Mom Donnie, I think that the corporate tax was going up, so
it doesn't matter.
These companies, they don't care. They're saving so much money on just being as big as they are. No. Because I've seen how these companies waste money.
Right.
To the point where it's like, oh, you're really spending this much on this. They
spend more than the rent on a party for a movie.
Yeah, this is all some executive going, I have control of this. I don't want to travel.
Ignition Press is in California, Los Angeles, by the way. But this is Murder Podcast, the final issue, number 8.
That's a nice.
Jeremy Juan is Andy McDonald. I don't know why we have a new artist on the last issue, but he did a good job. I didn't really notice any drop in quality. I forgot there was a new artist on the last issue until the end, so that's a good thing. But in this has been the story of a group of women who listen to true crime podcasts, and they get together for lunch and talk about true crime podcasts. And there's this one true crime podcast where if you listen to it, you start murdering people around you. So it's about, first it was about them trying to figure out what was going on. And there's some supernatural elements to it. And I guess you'd call it a crime story. So it was fun. I like Jeremy Juan's art, and I like him as a writer. I first saw his art 25 years ago. He did some Image comics, and he's been working. Then he switched over to a writer, a decade ago. but he still does stuff like this cover. And, I assume he switched over to a writer because, hey, that's where the money is these days. As Howard Chaykin said, writers can all break into Hollywood. That's why they're in LA. Comic book artists are just stuck being comic book artists. So if you switch over to being a writer, you can maybe break into Hollywood.
Yeah.
I think we could also do what are they called? The sketches for the movies.
Storyboards.
Storyboard art.
A lot of those are AI now.
Yeah.
Storyboards have taken a tumble in the last, I don't know, decade or so. Kevin. From what I hear from people like Kevin, who was a storyboard artist for a long time and found himself out of work and unable to get any more storyboard work.
I know Tom Morgan was doing something for Disney, but I'm not positive what. But I think he was doing something similar.
That storyboard work paid a lot of money. But when things started drying up, it was bad. I remember that.
Right.
Because they pay storyboard and storyboard artists loved. I remember in the 90s when a bunch of comic book artists got into storyboards, and storyboard industry loved them because they could draw and they could draw fast. One storyboard, for those of you who don't know, a storyboard is it's usually 3 panels or screens, and it's where you lay out what's going to happen in a movie. Doesn't happen with every movie, but let's say you have a script, you're going to go shoot it, you hire a storyboard artist, he breaks the script down into shots. And some directors would storyboard their own movies with stick figures. And a lot of storyboard artists were drawn with stick figures. That when comic book people got into it, they really did well because, like I said, one storyboard, 3 panels, pays $500 a panel. So it was night and day with the comic industry. You could make more doing one storyboard than you could do drawing a whole comic. And it's 3 panels. So a lot of guys were doing storyboards in the 90s into 2000s. It was just lucrative for comic book guys. And, not, high-end comic book guys like Tom Morgan, who moved to LA and did storyboards because that's where the money was. Mm-hmm. But like I said, I heard that it's not as lucrative as it once was.
Right.
My friend Ed did some storyboards. He loved it when he got storyboard work.
I did a little bit of storyboard coloring.
Okay.
For an ad, and it's it paid really well.
Yeah.
And that was just as easy as coloring for comics, if not more.
Right.
Because it was this is furniture. This needs to look like wood. And I have a pattern that mimics it. So it was I was just doing a lot of cut and pasting. The problem is the corrections. They're we need to correct this. We need to correct this one little thing. And that's where it gets a bit tedious and it needs to be done. I have one editor who's okay, could you get this done by this time? And okay, this time. And then, all right, can you stay awake? And it's so you're up to 3 a.m. going, is this worth it? Kind of a thing. And, and then I get the whole, I'm up with you. And it's we don't need to. But, again, each discipline has its ups and downs anyway. Yeah. But it feels better when you're getting paid more.
Oh, yeah.
Than what you get in comics.
Yeah. Hollywood paid a lot more money for storyboards. That's why, like I said, that's why a lot of guys went out there.
Yep.
Wonder how they're doing now. I haven't heard in a while.
Don't know.
I've just heard that storyboards isn't what it used to be. Mm-hmm.
You want to bet animators are going to be out of a job soon.
Oh, definitely. Well, that's what our friend Kevin did. He did storyboards for animation. And he'd been doing them for a while. But eventually they put him on contract. And eventually the contract ran out. And they were like, we don't need you anymore. He was not happy.
Where's Marvel going to put the online comics? That platform.
Oh, I don't remember. That was a rumor somebody just made up too.
Really?
Yeah, by 3030, Marvel won't be printing comics anymore.
Oh, no,
that's the rumor they just made up.
Yeah, this, again, it's one of those things. It's like, I feel that Marvel, not necessarily Disney, that Marvel for a long time wanted to try to get other studios to do their books. The test was Heroes Reborn. That didn't do well. The next one was Marvel Knights, but they did that in-house, and it worked so well they ended up making Joe editor-in-chief.
Right.
So every time they've tried to go back to the, studio system type of thing, it hasn't worked. I don't know if they would try it again.
I was just discussing it on my on Facebook today when someone mentioned it. I don't see Marvel being able to make more money from comics licensing stuff out. How are they going to make more money than if they're making the comics themselves?
Not on first publication.
If you don't have to pay for those 100 people that are going,
But how are you going to make what price are you? The other people have to pay for those 100 people,
right?
Whoever you license the book out to has to pay.
Right.
So they're going to have to pay the licensing fee on top of paying those people. So how's Marvel going to make? How much is Marvel ever going to make doing that? And
you license it to a studio in Argentina,
and as I pointed, but still, you're not going to get that much money for it. Let's just like right now, Marvel. I pointed this out with DC when they were talking about when DC was going to be sold, but they got quashed a few years ago. Right now, let's just say, how much money is Marvel making right now for Disney? Let's just say $20 million a year. I don't know if that's right. That might be low. I know it's usually in the millions. I know it's not 1 million. It's probably closer to 20. That's 20 million in cash. That cash is a force multiplier in business. So if you have a business, even if you've when you're putting together $1 billion movie, that's all borrowed money. And the reason you're able to borrow money is because you've got $20 million in cash coming in every year. So if you're not going to get $20 million in cash from a licensing stuff out, you're not going to do it. I don't see Marvel being able to get that much money licensing stuff out. Or DC, which is why I think they've never done it. They might license out, Wonder Woman for a kid's book to IDW for a few $1,000s. Why not? But that cash stream is guaranteed every year. Movies aren't.
It only makes sense if you license it to a publisher that has access to a market that the direct market publishers don't usually have access to.
Otherwise, and you can do that on top of your stuff,
right?
Like IDW. It's like that's why I don't.
Unless the other one ends up making more money, but then you have to make sure that every book sells like Dogman.
I just don't say. I'm not saying it couldn't happen because stupider things have happened.
Right.
But I don't see them giving up that revenue stream.
Right. There's no point in licensing to a direct market publisher to do 30-page comics at $5 a pop to sell 20,000 copies.
Yeah. If you're going to do that, you're going to do that on top of it. Also, that whatever $20 million revenue stream on top of that pays for a dozen vice presidents, all who have stock options, where it takes 3 years for their stock options to mature and then to get. They don't want to risk that.
And as a laboratory, publishing comics is one of the few R&D forms of R&D that you can actually make money off of the prototypes.
Yeah.
You get a steady cash flow from. They don't just they don't just pay for themselves. They give you profit even without all the other stuff. The movies are a gamble. Marvel Comics is no gamble. It's a license to print money.
Right.
So why would you give that license to somebody else? I don't know. That's why I don't see it happening.
Yeah, especially when it's like a 5 years out or less, 4 years out for them to do that, because I don't know where they got that date from.
Yeah.
You go to pay to physically move a company from one side of the country to another, continue the series, and it's hard to tell. You never know what a company is going to do, but it's just weird that it's like, in 4 years this is going to happen.
Yeah. If rent was the issue, there are so many other places they can move that would be. Yeah, LA isn't exactly a huge rent break from New York City.
Right, and Marvel's not owning buildings or anything. It's one floor.
What if Marvel could get Spider-Man compact reprints at Scholastic? Yeah, they'd license Scholastic to do something like that if they gave them some money.
Oh, completely. If they haven't already.
Yeah.
Or
with books being done by Abrams and being done by Takasha, so reprint stuff. They're already doing that type of things.
Well, internationally, Panini is already doing the format, because they compile everything and then they either publish it themselves or license it in some markets where they are not interested in publishing directly.
Yeah.
And as who was it on my Facebook? Jose Marzan pointed out, if it was all about getting all the creatives under one roof for the synergy, how come Lucasfilm and ESPN aren't under the roof? It has nothing to do with creativity. It has to do with the convenience of the vice presidents.
Right.
Yep.
That's it. Okay. Iren Zero. Okay, the real question. Will this move see the return of the Assistant Editor Month event, which might be the only 80s event I would like to see to return? You know what? I would too. Out of sheer I have no nostalgia for like the 25th anniversary covers because I was pretty much out from Marvel by then. But I do have a little nostalgia for Assistant Editors Month. It was just such a dumb idea that I think it should be brought back. It's such a dumb idea that it's good, kind of thing. Just Marvel trying to do something different for a month.
Yeah, but is Marvel fun to do that? That was done by a company that was having fun.
Right. Tit Goblin says Marvel will fire the remains of the staff that moved in 2028 and make an AI Stan Lee make everything. Yeah.
Well, if it's an AI Stan Lee and acts like a real Stan Lee, he's not going to do anything.
I by the way, I was just watching on TikTok a thread of AI created comics because you can now have AI. You can upload your own character designs, or you can have AI create character turnarounds for you. Have AI create. I think it was ChatGPT created the script, and then Midjourney created the art and matched them together. It was crazy.
I saw something had come up on my feed where people were talking. One person was talking about there's a company that was created. I don't recall the name right now, And I saw it on Facebook, and they were showing the indicia, and nice big letters. This is 100% written by a human being, and
Ah,
they credit the writer.
ha, ha,
There is nothing else in there that indicates there was any hands touching the artwork.
ah,
And then you see these pages, and by looking at it, you could tell, oh yes, this was drawn by AI. But the guy is trying to sell it. The big deal of his selling point is that it's a human written.
right.
You
Yeah,
know,
this
and the,
stuff was. Oh, you also uploaded a background situation. Like this one was just for you can upload like a map of the background you want, and it will like lead the characters through the background as it makes the art. I was just like, I mean, and the art wasn't terrible.
right.
It wasn't particularly good storytelling, but it wasn't terrible. I was just like, oh.
So that there was also what else did I see recently? There's a company calling itself the Big Two, and they're looking for creative ideas,
Ah,
and they're looking for people to give them their ideas. And then once you start reading everything, everything is 100% owned by that company. So they're telling you, here's your chance to work for the Big Two, which most people are going to think, oh, Marvel and DC are the Big Two.
Nope.
But this company is calling themselves the Big Two.
That's like I think what Bad Idea would do was they'd give writers prompts. So that would count as their ownership of it, the company.
Uh-huh.
Just like, what? Captain Infinity, AI only understands time travel when you walk it through the logic step by step.
Yes.
So far, no AI can accurately answer the question, how many instances of time travel in Back to the Future? Mind you, most humans get it wrong, too.
Captain, you
Hey.
have to feed your book to the AI because you're the only one who knows. If you don't give your book to the AI won't know.
I'm waiting for the quantum computers.
And the
Now let
AI,
me know whether or not any of this will work, because it will check it out with its computers in other lands,
AI couldn't tell
other
me who
dimensions.
inked a particular Marvel cover. I'd go to a comics.org to get it, the Grand Comic Database. I was like, let me see if AI knows. I'm like, no, that's who inked the interior.
Right.
No, the AI doesn't know the difference between different parts of the page where the story is, where the info is, so it will confuse cover story, backup story, pinup, promo art.
I did see what I thought was interesting was someone um took artwork that was poorly scanned, that doesn't really exist anywhere else, and fix it with AI, and it looks actually pretty good. The problem is he didn't stop there. Then he went the next, and then using that art, just like, oh, make it look like, because he took a golden age book
Right.
and corrected the artwork, and it looks like line for line correct, color matches and everything. It did create an extra character in the story for some reason in one panel,
Mm-hmm.
but the next page, it looks, they took the same artwork and said, okay, now make it look like it was drawn today. So it has more of a modern look to it, but it was terrible with the lettering because they
Yeah.
tried to update the balloons, and it was terrible. And then moved it one more to make it like 3D or what have you. But the taking a poor scan from a book that there is no way to get the film, that
Right.
it's a scan from the comic book, and correcting that to look like the comic page, I found interesting. And it's like, that seems like a good use. But again, it's like, what is the cost of actually doing that? When publishers don't even want to pay to reprint books because they don't have, a good scan.
Right.
Where if you could get a good scan and just pay for a recolor job, you could reprint the books, and they don't want to do that. So it's like, but that the fixing of that looks interesting enough to go, maybe that's something to use it for. Again, taking away tedious work without touching the artwork. But then that becomes that slippery slope that if they're willing to do it for that, where do you stop?
Mm-hmm. Actually, totally true, says Captain Finity. Grok said it can only be fed published books. Damn.
Huh. The conspiracy is real.
Huh. Let me show you another comic I got this week. The Ty Templesmith, that's right, his name, Department of Truth, Ben Templesmith, pardon me. I'm confusing Ty Templeton with Ben Templesmith.
Okay.
He's a fill-in artist here, and I've seen his stuff before too. And this story is all about, and this is the story. James Tinian's writing it. There's some T-Rexes for you. This is the one where if enough people believe in a conspiracy, it becomes true. So this is some religious theme park in Florida where dinosaurs live besides humans, say the leader of the church. And guess what? He convinced enough people of it that it became true, and dinosaurs started coming out of the woods and eating people.
Amazing.
No, wait. Are those vegetarian dinosaurs?
No, that's a T-Rex, I do believe. But always
there's a high possibility T-Rexes were foragers.
They may have been scavengers. We don't know, but they're eating people. Maybe that was part of the belief. But this is sort of, and our kind of Department of Truth has split off into two: the official Department of Truth and sort of the renegade Department of Truth. And this was the renegade Department of Truth, trying to figure out what's going on. But good stuff. Here, let me show you another one quickly. What else do I want to show you? Radiant Black. I think this one came out 2 weeks ago, but it must have been shorted at my comic shop. And this one is a nice story in this one, sort of a catch up with it. There's because there were two friends who originally, one found the Radiant Black suit, and somewhere around issue 6 or 8 he got injured, so the other one took over the Radiant Black suit. Then the injured one got better, so they were both Radiant Black for a while, and then they decided one of them was just going to be Radiant Black. So it's Marshall and what's the other, Nathan? Yeah, Marshall and Nathan. So I think it was, I don't even remember which one's which. Let's see. Marshall decided that Marshall would keep, okay. So Marshall is the one who stayed near Chicago and is Radiant Black, and Nathan went back to LA where he was trying to be a writer. They're both in the same town near Chicago, I think it is. And so Nathan went back, and the last, I don't know, dozen issues has been Marshall being Radiant Black, trying to clean things up after this big interdimensional war. And at the end of last issue, Nathan came back. And so this whole issue was what Nathan was doing in LA. And he came back with some other superpowered suit sort of thing. So this one, we had sort of a little bit of a cliffhanger last issue with Nathan showing up. I don't even know if that's considered a cliffhanger, a plot twist. Then this issue shows what he's been doing for the last year. So it's good stuff. This Radiant Black's been a pretty good series, I have to say. I've enjoyed it. Issue 43 we're up to. It's been a solid B all the way through. B plus, A minus, whatever any individual happens to be. But I'd give it a solid B all 43 issues. So good stuff.
Very nice.
I think this was a fill-in artist too on this one too. Who is it? Kyle Higgins is our writer. This is one that hides the credits. Is it in the black? Oh, and there's also Radiant Black, the audio book. I don't know what that is. Volume 1. Radiant.black/audiobook. It got me. The writers are Kyle Higgins and Michael Bassutti. Michael Bassutti's a new name. The artist is Giona Zafiro. I think Giona is the fill-in. Colorist Ron Fernandez with Marcella Costa. I think Marcella Costa is the regular. Letter Rebecca Carey. Production artist Wesley Griffith.
Ah, look at that.
Look at that. They credit the production artist.
There you go. That comic book is progressive.
So good stuff and Radiant Black.
I do know that there are some comic books where I do the whole production, and my name ends up being under production artist. But I've had some clients would put that, okay, here's the indicia, here's the credits page, and does usually add me to it. The Zen comic book that I was working on for San Diego, I'm credited in there. So we made a preview book for San Diego Comic-Con, which, by the way, I'll be going to.
Oh, that's right. So you won't be here next week, right?
I won't be here next Friday. I'll see if I could call in, but I do not know, since I'll be on California time. So that's 3 hours.
Bad idea always credits the production artist, by the way.
Do they? Okay, that's good. That's good. I know Scholastic has been crediting them, and Mad Cave, I believe, also credits stuff. You know, so
Mad Cave puts out some good. Mad Cave and Ignition Press have both been putting out some good books.
Yeah, some pretty
more than I can even buy. I think this week there was only one book that I didn't end up buying, because let's see how and final order cutoff 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I already had 7, but there wasn't a lot of stuff that interested me last week's final order cutoff. But the only thing that interested me was, and I would be getting it only for the cover, Spider-Man 1000. What's Todd? I don't know how to say his last name. Nauck, Nauck.
I've always said Todd Nauck.
Todd Nauck. I don't know. Like I don't think I've said his,
yeah, that's how I always pronounce it.
I don't think I've ever said his name out loud because I've never bought. But he's doing I think 4 covers, 100 up to 103 or whatever, of sort of like Scott Koblish has been doing over the years with like 1,000 characters. I think he's got like 178 Spider-Man characters in the first one, and they all go together. And I like those sort of covers, but it's
right
$10.
Yeah.
And I just kind of like, maybe if it's on the shelf and I see it, we'll see. But there's going to be a lot of covers for Spider-Man 1000.
I think I'm getting whatever would be the generic cover because I have the subscription to it.
Yes.
So
Wilson's fibbing, says Tit Goblin. He's going next week because Marvel sent him to California.
I'm going out there to scout out the area to see if there's any place I like. Although I do like San Diego.
Yeah.
But I'm only ever there 4 times in a year. So for 4 days, it's the greatest place on earth.
Oh,
I don't know how it is any other time.
I had a friend, any place he went on vacation, he loved that place. He'd loved to live there. And I'm like, you love it because you're on vacation.
Yeah.
When you're on vacation, you get to pretend you're the idle rich. That's one of the reasons you love it.
Yes, exactly.
You actually had to have a job there and work-a-day life. You probably wouldn't love it as much as hanging out on the beach day after day.
Pretty much, there's something to be said to be, going to conventions for, the 4 days. It's a great place, especially if Marvel is footing the bill for everything.
Yeah.
And, and there's been a few places where it's like, I wonder if I could live here. And those places have been San Diego and Chicago.
Okay.
But it was Chicago during July So it wasn't winter in Chicago.
Chicago in February is a different place.
Right. And Chicago was attractive because they have a subway system.
Yeah.
So that, because I rely totally on public transportation. I don't
Right.
drive. So for me, it's like, yeah, these places sound good, but at the same time, I'm staying in places where you can easily get around
Yeah.
on public transportation. So, and again, not staying out there, that's for the young. I'm too old and lazy to move anywhere.
I got a lot of comics this week. What else do we have here?
Do you have Grendel? There's a new Grendel out.
I got Grendel. But first, I'll show you one that I didn't like too much. Minotaur, another Ignition Press book. Written by Cy Spurrier, Mike Dowling, artist, Sophie Dogson, colorist, Hassan Atzmain El How, letterer. I don't even remember it. I'm going to have to look through it and wonder. I have no memory of what this was about. That's what the impression it made on me. What was it about?
Not a good sign.
I don't know. Even the description doesn't remember. There was some sort of event that happened in a picosecond and changed everything. And I don't remember what it changed. Stuff happened. Not buying any more Minotaur. It was just okay. Completely unmemorable. Now let me show you Grendel. Where is it? Grendel, Devil's Crucible, Sedition.
And look who's back.
Not Christine Spar.
Well, she thinks she is.
Yeah, I think so. She's actually, I think, might have the spirit of Grendel.
Yeah, there's always a little bit of mysticism in the story. So if she believes that she is Christine Spar, she is Christine Spar.
So Grendel Prime is still in it. And he's training her. I don't think she thinks she's Christine. She still thinks she's who she is. This woman from the world. I think she actually mentions Christine Spar at the beginning, though. I think she said something like
as the story goes, she starts talking about Christine Spar's life.
And in the first page, she's wondering who she is. And she talks about Christine, but she also talks about her life. Yeah, my memories, long dormant, have also been reborn. I remember the one who hounded me and beat my lover, all in the name of justice. But just because she remembers that doesn't mean she is that. But anyway, in this particular, this is volume 2. Volume 1 had 4 issues. This will have 4 issues. Then volume 3 will have 4 issues, but it's all one story. And volume 1 was the story of Grendel Prime, after having been out in space, looking for a place for humanity to leave because there was something wrong with Earth, comes back to Earth and finds it taken over by vampires. So Grendel Prime, who's robot Grendel, was all going through the Earth, looking for what's happening, trying to figure out sort of a Planet of the Apes vibe or a Planet of the Vampires vibe. And then he finds the Grendels, who are sort of rebels who keep the Grendel worship alive. And then he ran into Christine, I guess the spirit of Grendel thing, Christine Spar Grendel. And I think that this series is about the two of them fighting vampires. You read the first issue?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. It was good stuff. What's your favorite Grendel story? Do you have one?
Yeah, it's right here. Devil's Reign, which is the Orion arc.
Okay. I don't remember if I read that one or not. Did you read the redo of Devil by the Deed?
Yeah.
I really liked the redo. Devil by the Deed was always one of my favorites. Mm-hmm. But I thought he really did a nice job with the redo of it.
Sure. I don't know. I guess to me it wasn't necessary.
No. I mean, we already had Devil by the Deed, but I still think it was really well crafted and well done. And I would rather, let's see, it's clobbering time. The only reason, hello there, Sleepy. The only reason I'd say it's necessary is one of the reasons I loved the original Devil by the Deed is you could see him learning as it went along. And that to me is cool. I don't think that's cool to your average reader I think the redo is a lot easier to hand to someone who's never read Grendel or who even isn't a comics reader than the original Devil by the Deed. That's the reason I think the redo exists as a sort of good thing. Because I was very skeptical when I originally got it. Because I loved the original so much. But I think it actually does top the original. And one of the reasons is because this is Matt Wagner at the height of his talents, as opposed to Matt. Now, I love Matt Wagner learning. For me, that's great stuff. But I don't think that's great stuff for your average reader.
Sure. I guess that's why Mage doesn't get as reprinted as often, because the original series is still very much a work in progress for Matt Wagner as an artist himself.
Yeah.
And the second series kind of feels disconnected from it because it's 10 years later and now he's much better.
Mm-hmm.
So the character of Mage is less important. Because
by the second series, you don't even know why it's called Mage.
Right. It's kind of a book about nothing really. And Grendel evolves because Mage doesn't need to evolve, and so it's Matt Wagner doesn't have really anything to say with the character, but Grendel evolves. So anytime there's a new iteration, it's Matt Wagner exploring new ideas.
Right. Mage is the classic hero's journey.
Mm-hmm.
He just grows into his powers as he becomes King Arthur as the series goes on.
Yeah, but the second series is just an asshole.
I don't even remember. I haven't read the second one since it came out. I've reread the original a couple of times in the last 10 years. But the second and third one I haven't read but the once. Because once again, I like him learning to do comics as the series goes on. I think that's good stuff. But not for everyone. Have you ever read Mage, Wilson?
I'm sure I did. I know I've had conversations with Ski about Mage, and because I was picking it up at the time when it was first coming out. I know I was picking them up.
Right.
But I never reread them.
Right. 62 says, I read all 3 volumes of Mage about 4 months ago. Was that your first time reading them? Because I'm always curious. It's always such a different experience reading something all at once so many years later. And I always wonder what that experience is like.
Especially because Matt Wagner is a completely different person on all 3 volumes.
Right. His art got better, but the mission he started with gets abandoned.
So it's a commentary. It's a commentary on life moving on.
Right. All right. He first read Mage years ago. Okay.
All right.
Like me. Jared, artwork on Instagram lately. Also, hello, Wilson and Pell. I'm glad you.
Hello.
I started making some some videos about my artwork. I've been meaning to make videos with my artwork in it for years and years, but figuring out exactly how to do it is trouble. So finally, this summer, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it like everything else. I'm gonna stand and show it. So I ended up, I make 5-piece art shows, about 10, 15 minutes that I show on YouTube. Just me first showing the artwork, holding it up, and oh, look at that. And then aiming down at it on my desk, giving you a closer look at it. And then I break them up into like 2-minute video each, into 2-minute videos that I've been posting on Instagram and TikTok just for the heck of it. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I want to figure out more ways to do it too, but for now that's good. I'm like, I'm just doing them. I'm showing them.
I enjoyed the one you made about the templates.
Oh yeah,
and showing how it worked and overflowing your pen.
Yeah,
to give us what does happen.
Yep.
Perfect example of all of that.
Yeah.
Very well done. I did enjoy that.
Thank you. I just felt like showing those off. Kit Goblin says, I just put all my mage in a free little library cabinet. I got them all free myself from someone who got them for free. Pass them on.
There you go. Comic stories like that should be shared.
Sleepy says, I'm a big fan of those videos about your artwork. Thank you. 5 pieces at a time is perfect. I'm glad you like it. Like I said, I kept it to about 10 minutes, and I think I think that's good. And they're doable too. Like the first one I made had too much editing in it, and it took me 2 hours to edit a 10-minute video. I'm like, no, this isn't sustainable.
Right.
So now I edit in the can and then kind of string them together. I've also learned as I'm standing there about to present a piece of artwork, I kind of shrug my shoulders and then say go, and pause a second and then start talking. That way I know to find the beginning, I just find myself saying go, and I can edit it right after that. I've been learning little things at a time.
Very nice.
Jared's art shows are great, everyone. Glad you like them. He agrees with Sleepy. Thank you very much. Like I said, I've been doing the long one on YouTube, posting some of them on my Patreon early too, and then posting them on. I've had to make a chart. I'm not sure the purple shirt. The only significance of that is that's the shirt that always hangs on the back of my chair that I put on when I get chilly in the winter. In the summer, I'm not wearing it. That's the significance of the shirt.
I have the same type of shirt, but it's a sweatshirt, a gray one, or occasionally a light blue. What do I have behind me now? A dark blue with a light blue trim type of thing, in case I get cold.
Aaron Zero, I do watch and enjoy the mini art shows, and the demo was great. Glad you're liking them. Glad you're liking them. The purple work, that's how I was starting them at the beginning in the winter. I'm like, I got my purple work shirt on, and I'm going to show you some. and this is my 3rd purple work shirt. I've had a purple work shirt since the 90s sometimes, but they wear out.
Yeah.
And it's always the elbows that wear out. So I think this is my 3rd one. Might be my 4th. I didn't really. It's the 3rd I can think of off the top of my head. But that's just. I don't know why I've always had a purple work shirt, but that's the way it's ended up. Let's see. I also got Super Creep Show. This is issue 5 of 5. A piggyback cover with FF #1. And this is the one that's horror stories. Horror stories, superhero. So there's regular Creep Show and there's Super Creep Show. This one was fun. Two 10-page stories. Ram V wrote one with Riccardo Bercielli, the artist, Matteo Vitati, the colorist, Pat Broseo, the letterer, and the other one was Christian Ward, writer. Fabio Veras, artist, and Pat Brosseau, again, on letters. So there's usually some nice artwork. Both of these stories were enjoyable. And there's usually a few covers to choose from. I like this Maxwell Prince, the Ice Cream Man one, too. Is a purple sign of royalty in the studio? It emphasizes my snobbish nature.
Yeah. It's purple paint. That's what was it? It was purple, and I think there was a type of a blue paint that was like reserved
for like, that. Yeah, that was the one they made. That is the one thing they always taught us about the Phoenicians. Every grade school, high school history class started with the Phoenicians and purple dye. That's what they traded all around the Mediterranean, purple dye. Made from the, what are they, mollusks or something? I can't remember.
I think so. I think it was a mollusk, because blue was made from, I think, a bug?
Well, there was lapis lazuli.
Right.
Which is a rock, and there was indigo, which was mined.
Right. But I thought there was
then there was Egyptian blue.
Bug.
That was a whole other thing. I don't know. Egyptian blue may be the bug.
Okay.
But lapis lazuli was all over the middle. Matter of fact, I've noticed them recently. They've started to date things that go back, 5,000 years by lapis lazuli mines. Because lapis lazuli, lapis lazuli is like a really turquoise blue stone. And they traded that as much as gold 5,000 years ago. It was in all sorts of jewelry and things. So those are your blue colors: lapis lazuli, what is it? Egyptian blue and indigo. Indigo goes back as far in history as we can find, I think, in indigo mines. I don't know what it comes as, a mineral, I think, so you have to mine it. Mm-hmm. That purple stuff is crushed mussels dried on rooftops. It's very small cottage industry still. Mussels, pulling mussels from a shell. Mussels, not mollusks. Speaking of which, I just bought 2 sets of purple markers. Whole bunch of different purples. There's my swatches of them. I've been drawing on some Magic the Gathering cards too. Which I'll have to tell Wilson this. I found out in doing the so purple is flexing in muscles.
Muscles.
The gesso does not work on Magic cards because the paint marker, they work for like one coat of paint marker. Then there's something in the paint markers that peels the gesso off of the card.
Really?
I was like, ooh, I didn't know that. So then I switched over to just the paint marker, the acrylic, those big paint markers. I just got a big white paint marker that's got acrylic paint in it like the other ones, and I used that as the ground, and that worked pretty well. That doesn't peel off with the other. I don't know why the gesso peels off because of the paint markers. I don't know what's in them, but I was like, oh, can't use this. And then I used, this works. If you remember, I think I showed this off a month or 2 ago. I've never watercolor ground. Put this on the card. It takes two or three coats, and then you can use watercolor on them. Like it absorbs water, and it's like being on paper doing the watercolor. Purple markers, coloring pans for the Hulk. Let me give a quick run through of the comics I got left. 4 of them. We've got Of the Earth. I'm really enjoying the Charlie Adler artwork on and storytelling. Chris Condon is our writer. This is the one that's a slow burn horror story about the this woman right here on the run went back to visit her grandmother, but there's some crazy thing in the oil well at her grandmother's house in Texas. That one's been fun. Battle Beast number 11, Kirkman, Otley, and Alyssa Leone. This one, second issue of Battle Beast fighting Conquest, who's a Viltrumite. If you've been watching the Invincible TV show, you know what a Viltrumite is, and he's the toughest of all Viltrumites. So he and Battle Beast have been having bloody battles. Arcadia, issue number 6 of 12. This is the one that's about the by who is it? The Miranda brothers. Never heard of them, but they're terrific. This is the one about the future where there's no more humans, but these artificial people who don't know who they are. And they're trying to figure out who they are. And this is about a young guy and his wife, his girlfriend, whoever she is, trying to figure out who they are, going on this journey, all sorts of dangers. And we find out this issue, the wife now is probably going to die soon, and it's told by the point of view of like their child. So it's sort of saga-like, except there's no child. But sad things keep happening. Like the child knows all the sad things that are going to happen. So sometimes the child drops one on us. And of course, Assorted Crisis Events. This is the one who does this. Dennis Camp, Zadwoski, Jordi Belair, Atzmain Elhau, Muller. And this is the one that's an anthology, and every issue is different, but it's what happens to ordinary people during like Crisis on Infinite Earths. So there's some big multi-dimensional crisis happening, but ordinary people have to live through it. So this is about, there's now multi-dimensions, things are crashing everywhere. And so this one guy has to get a job. Things are like, it's hard to get jobs and things because everything's crazy. So he gets a job. It's basically like Kang versus Immortus. 2 Time Lords fighting through time, and they hire people to be their warriors. So he gets, and they'll hire anyone. They don't care. You're just cannon fodder. You don't even see Kang and Immortus or whatever their names are. You don't even know why you're fighting. To you, it's just a job, but it's turns out it's a nightmare job because it's a third party hiring agency hires you, and you get penalized for this and for that, and you never make as much money as you think you're going to make, and you're in the middle of a freaking time war fighting some people you don't even know who they are. So it was a good issue, but a lot of these are really sad issues. They're not happy issues. So good. Those are the last 4. Good stuff all around. It was a good week, except for a couple of first issues that didn't grab me, but that happens. It's not going to stop me from buying first issues.
Right. That's part of the fun of it is discovering new things.
Yeah. Like Assorted Crisis Events. This one was fun to discover. Arcadia. This one was fun to discover. And just the sadness that, like, there was just some line in here where the narration was like, oh, and my mother died at some time. I was like, ah. And then what it is, let me see if each of these artificial people, they're very long-lived, but at some point they get, what is it called here? The veil, where it starts at your feet. It starts at your feet. It gets it's coming. It slowly creeps up your body until it reaches your head and you die. And they had just got out of this tough situation. And her husband, who's actually pretty young, he just can't. These artificial people also, sometimes they're kept in like these giant labs where you can maybe rescue one. So out of this giant lab, his father rescued him, but like 30 other artificial people died because some giant monster came out and killed him. So he's fairly young. I don't know how old she is, but older, obviously, because he's like, we got it. We did our mission. We're going to be immortal. And she's like, nope, I'm not going to be immortal. I've got the veil. And it's just like, ah. And there was a moment in here where the daughter narrator alluded to it that was just sad, and it was like, ah. So it's like they're fun, they're having a good time, and then there's just these moments of sadness. They're like, oh, they're telling this story is all over, and it's told by the point of view of somebody. Let me see if I can find that one line that made me go, ah. Some terrific art, by the way. Let me show you this art for a second, because it's good. Giant, they managed to get a giant mech going. So it's fun stuff. So it's running 12 issues. So pick up the collected edition when it comes. There might be a collected edition of the first 6. I don't know how they're doing it, but where is that line? Come on. There's not much narration in this issue, so it's got to be somewhere. Oh, there it is. After she says, I have the veil, the last lines are like, my mother died on a cold night, looking into my father's eyes. She had a beautiful death in a damned ugly world that could never touch her soul because beauty lit her from within. She died humbly among the leaves, close to the ground like a wild violet.
Wow.
Such a poetic thing after we find out she's got the veil and who knows how long she has. But she has to birth a child first, so, or adopt a child, because I don't think they give birth, but we'll see. But once again, I have no idea. I've never heard of the Miranda brothers before, but they're doing a good comic. Another Ignition Press book, right?
Very nice.
Has any Ignition Press stuff made its way over there, Paolo? Have you heard of?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I can order them. I really don't know what I can get with the current system, because Marvel UK Diamond UK had access to anything that was distributed by Diamond. They may not have access to everything that's distributed by whoever's around. Worse than that, I'm pretty sure some distributors are doing the whole "this does not go outside North America" thing, which doesn't make a lot of sense because it doesn't compete with local editions.
There's nothing to compete with.
Yeah. So I don't know. It become very chaotic, and I now have, because I don't have room, I'm buying a lot fewer stuff, and then it turns out that the fewer stuff that I want to buy is not available, and I can't just, I don't want to just order from Amazon because I have no idea how the other books are going to get here.
Right. 62 says the Miranda brothers did We Live for Aftershock a few years ago. Okay. Was that a tie-in to the movie? I vaguely remember that. Did Aftershock go out of business officially?
I don't know.
I've not seen a comic from them in ages. And Mike Martz left years ago now. And I think they were in bankruptcy or something like that. But I haven't heard word of them in a while. I remember looking them up like 6 months ago, but I can't even remember what I found.
Well, the last Aftershock issue that was put in the Grand Comics database is Samurai Doggy #3 from October 2023.
Well, that was a while ago.
But even that doesn't mean anything, because the smaller publishers, they always have to bug contributors to see if they're interested in putting up the info online.
The website is still credited for this year, but the last thing that they posted was in 2022.
Wow. That's like, what was it? What were we betting on?
Heavy metal?
Not heavy metal. that came to my mind too.
Playboy.
Penthouse Comics. That's it.
Penthouse.
Penthouse Comics. I think our over-under was 11 issues, and it never made it into its second year past 6. Because I think Penthouse Comics website is still up, and there's even some covers to like issues 7 and 8 or something like that on the website, but you can't get them. They don't exist. Iron Zero says, per wiki, in May 2025, the publisher announced to finally emerge from bankruptcy protection, restructured and fully prepared to meet its financial and contractual obligations. Oh, okay. Have you tried Walt's Comic Shop, Paolo? Asks Sleepy Reader.
What's Walt's Comic Shop?
I don't know. I think you're going to have to look it up.
You mean Walt, the Swedish guy?
Is this comic shop in Sweden? Maybe he'll mail you stuff?
There was a YouTuber called Walt.
I had the under. I said they wouldn't make 8. Yeah, I think a lot of people had the under. I had hopes they'd last 2 years. That's why I put the over under an 11. That if they lasted a full 2 years, they'd make the over. And they certainly seem to be. I remember I pre-ordered I think I even may have pre-ordered the first issue of volume 2 because I think they were doing like Penthouse Comics 1 to 6 and then Penthouse Comics 1 to 6 again. I think is how they were doing it. Like whatever year it was, it would be that year's number 1. But never happened.
I don't remember what number I decided on that to
I'm
go.
I'm guessing we all picked the under.
I think we did.
I don't think any of us were going with the over. I wanted to go with the over because I was hopeful. I was the one buying it. And they said they sold like 110,000 of issue 1. Something crazy like that. They were like, woohoo! But then by issue 6, they stopped telling us how much they sold. Walt is German.
Right. Yeah. He doesn't have the thing that I want.
Oh, the Germans are mad at me, Smithers. The Germans are mad at me. Oh, no.
Stop doing that.
Oh, no, the Germans, Smithers, they're mad at me.
Please stop doing that. I forgot what else they said, but they're like, just stop that, please. Stop it. What are the Germans going to do?
Oh, no, the Germans are mad at me, Smithers. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Yeah, he seems to have the same problem that my local comic shop has. No limited access to Fantagraphics.
Sleepy says he is a big online distribution shop for Europe. Seems very successful.
Right, but he seems to have the same problem with getting all the Fantagraphics that my comic shop here has.
After all, the land of chocolate.
Although, yeah, Walt used to have a TV channel, a YouTube channel, because I remember watching it. But as it turns out, the Northern European section of the YouTube comics community is kind of stopped. Even Analog Comics from Finland hasn't put out a video in a while.
Sleepy says he distributes English language comics.
Yeah, I'm noticing it, but he doesn't have the Marvel Library Savage Tales from Fantagraphics, which is the thing that I needed right now. Also heard that it's out of. I heard that it's out of print. They just did the first printing, and they're not doing more. Which
Which
kind
one
of
is
ridiculous. The Savage Tales, the one that reprints the 80s series.
Yep.
They want to have a specific library of titles, and then because they have to pre-Marvel, they're not available. The thing that's something that Marvel can license out, because it's this type of books that they are not going to do.
I think I started following the Fantagraphics store on Facebook, or it's been popping up on my feed. I don't remember which. But I guess they got a store out in California, wherever they publish. And they always have some interesting stuff to show off there. And stuff from the, I think, what did they say? Dennis
Kitchen?
No, Klaus. I can't remember his first name. 8 Ball.
Daniel
Klaus.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm getting Dennis from. Daniel Klaus was cleaning up and decluttering. So he sent a bunch of foreign, I think there was 4 foreign language versions of his stuff. Huh. To the Fantagraphics store. Good stuff. What? Ooh.
Well, Danny Klaus is one of the guys that, one of the Americans that the French publishers like.
Hey, he's made movies, so. How many movies does he have now?
I don't know.
No idea.
Ghost World, Art School Confidential. I think there's one more, but I can't remember what. Ah, well. I like them both. Both movies are okay. Art School Confidential doesn't have much to do with the very, very short 5-page story that it is, except in the very beginning they kind of go over it and then go into their own thing. All right, we should wrap it up for the night and let Paolo get to bed. We'll be on Paolo's channel next week.
Yes.
Wilson maybe will call in from San Diego Comic-Con.
Maybe because I have a panel at 4 p.m. 4:30 is the panel. That's why I'm going, is to be on that panel. Okay. So that would be, it would be 7 o'clock over here, I think, or 7:30.
Well, that's way late over here.
Yeah, so don't know. We'll see. we'll see what happens.
All right. Okay, then. Everyone out there, have a good one. And we will catch you next time.
Yep. Take care, everybody.